today's first chapter of a four-part series about email marketing, and it's Stop Overthinking and Just Start Email Marketing 101. So thank you so much, Rachel. We're so excited to learn and have fun with you today, and I'll let you take it away.
Great. Thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate it. Thanks again for having me and trusting me with this information. I hope it'll be worthwhile. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Make sure that we got it started here. Whoop, that's the end of the presentation. Hold on. There we go. And presenter view. And we'll move this out of the way. Okay. Great. Enter full screen mode. Can everyone see that okay? Okay. All right. And I'll make sure that like my Zoom. Okay, here we go. I just want to move. There it is. All right. So hi, everybody. My name is Rachael Johnson, and thanks again for coming. This is the first, as Kirsten said, it's the first of 4 workshops that I have for this particular series. Because there's so much we can talk about with email marketing. It can get really overwhelming. So I'm trying to break it down into bite-sized pieces of information and workshops. So this first workshop that we have is just, start sending, just start, right? Because a lot of times you think email marketing, everyone's telling you have to start a list. That's where the money is. That's the greatest ROI. We'll talk about all that in a minute. But what is challenging is just knowing what to say, where to begin, what ESP to use, what is an ESP, right? All that stuff. So this is really breaking down the basics today. And giving also like those like mindset frame, like that you might have, like those blocks you might have when it comes to email marketing. I know for myself, so I'll tell you about myself in a minute here, but I was writing emails for a lot of other brands and I didn't have my own email list. And I was watching my words that I was writing for other people make all this money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm going, well, why am I not doing this for myself? But part of it was my own blocks and my own mindset. So what we're going to do today is get past 3 of the most common roadblocks of sending emails that you may or may not have. I want to talk, of course, about why email matters more than ever. I'm trying to get everyone I know, every business owner I know, to have an email list because we can't be relying on the algorithm and dancing for the algorithm all the time. And some of us don't want to do that anyway. So talking about that, and also why you just can't rely on ChatGPT to write them. We'll talk more about that at the second workshop in November, but why that stuff's important. And then of course, just how to get started, right? Because I don't want to just leave you with all this information and you're like, well, now what, Rach? So get a little bit of get starting information for you. And we'll see how much we can cover in an hour or less. And I don't think I can see the chat box, Kirsten. So I don't know if you don't mind if anyone asks a question, if you can let me know, because I don't think I have a way of seeing it from where I'm at right now. Maybe if I hold on one second.
If you scroll to the bottom, does it not pop up all
well, Zoom pops up. Oh wait, see, now you're seeing, yeah.
It says like a chat thing at the bottom.
No, now I can't get back to the other thing. Hold on.
Okay.
Zoom.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know because with the sharing screen, I'm not sure.
Stop sharing one more time. Because all of a sudden the presenter window just disappeared. There it is. Yeah, it's not letting me like see. Oh, wait, presenter layout. What if I do? No.
I can definitely let you know if somebody has.
Yeah, anyone does. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, of course, why can't what happened? Layout.
If you double click, what happens?
Nothing's happening. Oh my word.
That's okay. It'll come back. So just, yeah, share screen again.
Let me get rid of, I'm sorry. I'm literally not the person who has tech problems. And now I am that person that has tech problems. Okay, here we go. It came back up. All right. Google, Chrome, share. There it is. Can you see it now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I guess I can't see
The chat.
yeah, so just, yeah, if anyone
Great.
has anything else, let me. Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Also, if you have a question, you can raise your hand, but I guess, yeah. If not, if you put it in the text, I will raise my hand. So either way, we will get your questions answered.
okay, I will say I can see everyone's face on my monitor over here. So if anyone does raise their hand, I can see that. So if anyone is brave enough to go off mute and wants to just raise their hand and ask questions, feel free. I don't want anyone to feel confused at any point. So if there's any point, there are no dumb questions. And I will tell you a little about myself here and why, I believe truly there are no dumb questions, because I was a music teacher for 15 years. I taught children. Now I'm teaching adults. And so yeah, I was a music teacher for 15 years before I switched over and started my own business here as a copywriter and messaging strategist. Now I write emails for lots of different brands, businesses. I also write websites for businesses and help people figure out their brand voice as well with their business. So I own Rachael Johnson Creative. I'll tell you more about me later towards the end, but I just really want to get started into this presentation today. So today's workshop is just start. In the next workshop the theme will be just right. We'll actually be figuring out our X factor and, infusing your personality into the emails. So even if you are using ChatGPT, you can still find ways to make it uniquely you and yourself, and also find ways to resonate with your audience and get them to engage and respond and buy from you in an ethical way. So just put that in your calendar if that's something you're interested in for the next time. But today we're going to talk about just starting. Yeah, a little bit of proof that I'm good at this stuff. Some certifications I've done, cohort, Brand Voice Academy, gone through copy school, in a lot of copywriting circles. And yeah, just continue to write sales pages and, like I said, emails for everybody. Question, who here does have I guess you can raise your hand so I can't see the chat. Who does have an email list? And no shame if you don't, but who does have an email list? Okay, a couple people do. And who receives a lot of emails on a daily basis? So many, right? Just a lot. And then my next question, I wish I could see the chat because that would be helpful. But what makes you open some emails and ignore others? Just thinking about like the subject lines.
I think for me, if the subject line grabs my attention, if it's interesting, then I'll open it. Or like, yeah, that's probably it. But so many people's emails I honestly don't open because I don't know what it is. So
Right. You don't know what it is, or they haven't emailed you in a long time. So you're like, who's this person? Yeah. Oh wait, there's the chat. Now I can see the chat. Ta-da.
oh, perfect. Okay, good.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Zoom. Nakimuli says, I like looking at previews. Yeah. So sometimes there's like that preview line that you can see. So you have the subject line, which is in the bold, and then the preview line that people will write. We'll talk more. That'll be more in like workshop 2 or 3, but here you've got the preview line. So there's some emails that you want to open and some you don't. If we have time towards the end, we'll analyze our own inboxes. I'm not sure if we'll have time for that or not, but I just want you to like think about that, like what's making you open emails, what's making you not. Next question, how many of you checked your email when you first woke up this morning? Yeah. I had to get rid of my Gmail app on my phone because I would be like checking it from bed, which is terrible. Like I should not be doing that. But I was. So yeah, it's just so important, right, to have, as you can see, like it's an integral part of our lives is having an email, or having email in general. So a couple other things. I don't think you all probably need to go over this, but I will anyway, because I just don't want to leave any stone unturned. I made the mistake of doing this presentation once and people were confused about what an email list was. So I just want to make sure it's clear. An email list, it is a collection of email addresses from people who have opted in to hear from you via email. It is not a bunch of email addresses that are in your contacts in Gmail. It's not the emails you've collected from business cards. That's not that's not an ethical way of collecting emails. Just because someone hands you a business card doesn't mean that you can put their email into your list. And it's also not someone who's just ever emailed you or you have ever emailed. The email list is it's the emails you've collected with consent, either verbally or through an opt-in page. And towards the end, we're going to talk about how you can find multiple ways to collect emails, because that's something people get hung up on a lot. As far as growing their list. So just a few more things with the terminology. If I say ESP, that means email service provider. That's like Kit or Flowdesk or MailChimp. Not Go High Levels more than ESP, but those type of things where you're sending emails, you're putting an email into the ESP and it's going out to all those emails you've collected. An opt-in page is just like a really short landing page, which might just have a form to enter someone's name and email address to keep it simple. And then a landing page is where a buyer, a consumer, or a lead, where they land and then they decide if they want to join your list or buy your thing or join your membership, whatever it is. That's the landing page. And it's like a shorter version of a long sales page that you may have seen before. So lots of terms. I just want to make sure that is clear. And as Esmeralda said, I have 4 email addresses and it's a bad habit to watch it constantly. Yeah, for sure. I know. I try not. I have like a personal one, then I have an old business one, and then I have my like current business one. And yeah, I try to keep it to a minimum. It's hard though. Okay, so the case for email, if you haven't been emailing or you have been wanting to, but you're not sure, I'm hoping these little stats here help propel you into sending emails consistently or starting an email list. So the first one being social media, super noisy. The algorithms are controlling who sees your posts. Even creating those posts can take up a lot of energy and time, all for it to get 2 likes, 13 views, and 0 sales, right? So it's fun to do if it's something that you like doing or you find value in it or you have found a system that does work, that's great. But for so many, I see people just posting and ghosting or posting and not seeing anything come from it, and they're putting all this energy into it. So they're relying on the algorithm. They're not able to just show up in front of their target audience. Whereas with email, you have a direct line to your audience. There's no algorithm middleman, and you send an email. It's like this superpower. I remember when I first got my email, started emailing people, and it was a Sunday, and I was like, I can just send an email to someone right now, and if they open up the email, they're gonna see it. Like, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So sounds nerdy, but it's great. And obviously you don't want to abuse it, but it's great to not have that middleman, the algorithm middleman. Then you have the ROI. If email is just consistently outperforming social, for every dollar you spend on email, as long as it's being done strategically and it's well researched and you have your messaging nailed down, then the average ROI is anywhere between $36 and $40 for every $1 that you spend. So it's a lot. It's worth it in that sense. And then, as we said before, people still check their inbox daily. So it's great. And then the other big advantages we have is ownership. So you own your list. Let's say you are on Kit, formerly known as ConvertKit, and you decide that you want to leave Kit and you want to go to MailChimp or Flowdesk. You can take your list and bring it over there. You always have your list with you, unless those people have unsubscribed from you. From your list, you have it with you at all times. Nobody can shut it down. Nobody can delete your account. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have access to it. If you say something he doesn't like, you have your list. And then you have also the connection part. Emails feel very personal. They land in someone's inbox versus a feed. You're not showing up in between a cute cat video and the latest doomsday news article that is come out. So it's nice because you can be separate from all of that to your ideal audience. And then the last part is the conversion part. Emails are driving more consistent sales than almost any other channel. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's true. All right, I already asked you guys that question. Sorry, so we'll go past this. Next things. Now I can see the chat. I'm looking over here because it's my other monitor. I'm curious to know, out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you who are here, just what stops you from starting or maintaining an email list? And you can just put the number in the chat. So is it overwhelmed? Like, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to restart. Is it 2? Well, I have a really small list, so what's the point of emailing 10 people? Or is it self-doubt? What do I even say? Or is it number 4? I just don't want to feel salesy. It feels icky to me, or I don't want to be spammy. Go ahead and share like which one stops you from being consistent or from starting. I see a 4. I see a 2. Anyone else want to share? 1. Ooh, we got a little of everything. Yeah, for me, it was overwhelmed. And what do I even say? And I don't want to be spammy. And then I didn't even have a list when I started, right? It was like, I have to start this. And then you do feel a little shameful because you're like, I only have 7 people. But let me tell you, when you have just 7 people and they're all opening it, it's really nice to see those really high open rates because the bigger your list gets, the smaller the open rates get, which is fine. That's normal, but it is nice. So I say the tiny list is pretty awesome because it boosts your confidence when you've got the right people on your list and it's small and they're all opening it. It's pretty good stuff. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of everything, a lot of the spam stuff. Ooh, I'm so glad you guys, a lot of you are thinking that you don't want to be spammy salesy, because I have a lot to say about that in a second here. So okay, so for overwhelm, we'll just go through each one since almost everyone was mentioned here. The number one reason you haven't started or been consistent with your list, I want you to think about it. You don't have to put it in the chat. If you want to, that'd be great. But just give yourself like a minute to be honest with yourself and like, why haven't I started my list, or why haven't I been consistent? Feel free to put your answers in the chat if you're comfortable. I'll give it like 30 seconds if someone's typing. Esmeralda says, consistency in my industry tends to be an issue because people move around a lot. Ooh, can you expand? What's your industry, Esmeralda?
Okay, I'm taking myself off on mute.
Great. Yay.
So I'm in law,
Okay.
and particularly it's affordable housing and community development. So our industry tends to be, it's large, it's got a lot of moving parts,
Mhm.
but everybody knows everybody in the industry. So there's only a set number of attorneys who practice that law. So you'll have big law steal some from smaller law. Once those attorneys are in big law, they decide we don't like big law, we're going to go back to small or medium law. Same with investors, lenders, etc. They just move around a lot because there's opportunities.
Mm.
Um, so while somebody may be at one place 1 month, at the end of the year they may be with another company. So it's so inconsistent. That's where I've found a lot of issues in being consistent with my list.
Okay, so you're saying that the people, just to reflect back what you're saying, the people on your list are like basically losing their emails because they're moving to a different company.
Right.
Yeah,
Because they go to different companies. And if you're not aware that they moved companies, then it
right.
just becomes troublesome.
Yeah. Can I ask what what you normally what people on your list, what they usually sign up for? Like, what are they looking for when they sign up for your email list?
Information. A lot of times our attorneys will send out, like newsletters, or, with the way the government is right now, things are changing in our industry almost on the daily. So
Yeah.
we'll put out blasts,
Yeah. Okay.
and so that's usually what they're wanting to hear.
Okay. Do you ever use, so it's just information based? Is there ever anything you can or you do sell in that?
No, we don't sell anything.
Just the,
We provide legal services, so.
right. That's what I figured. Okay. I was just double checking. I know there's some lawyers who might have another type of audience where they're selling something, but your audience is strictly just getting information from you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's helpful. Consistency. And then Kirsten said, I don't know what to put in my emails. There's a lot of chatter. And so you don't want to be chatter for sure. Actually, if you wouldn't all mind, again, you don't have to, but if you wouldn't mind putting in your industry or like what it is, that way, as I'm presenting this, I can offer examples. Just putting in like, what your industry is or who your client, target audience is in the chat. That would help me as I'm going through. I can provide answers that are applicable to you. While you're doing that, so for those who do feel any sense of overwhelm, or just it feels exhausting, I just like to reframe it as in just keep it really simple and just get in the habit. So if you're not sure what to say just yet, we're going to talk about that in workshop 2. But for now, just I like to keep things in my notes app. Actually, I have my notes app that just has ideas as I think about them throughout the day, because when I sit down to try to actually think about something, nothing comes, right? So it's usually when I'm out and about thinking about something, I'm not necessarily like looking for content or looking for ideas, but they'll just come while I don't want to be texting while I'm driving, but they'll come at different points. So just thinking about content, if you think of something, writing it down right away, because we will forget it. It does not stay in our brains. And just getting in the habit of doing that. And so then once you have some content or you have messaging pillars, again, which we'll do more in workshop 2, then it's just a matter of being consistent and actually setting aside the time to write. I usually write my newsletters on Sunday afternoons. That just works for me. And then I edit them on Tuesdays after they sit for a bit, and then they go out on Wednesdays. And then you don't need to build it all at once. Small steps, even 10 people matter. I will be very transparent. A year ago, I had no one on my email list. I didn't have an email list a year ago. I started it in November of last year. And it just slowly grew over time. And now I'm at 300. And it's still, that's not like, for some people, that's a very small list still. I consider that small, but when I was at 15, I thought 300 was huge. So now I'm at 300. I'm like, that's tiny, but you got to start somewhere. So fear number 1. So like, again, the small steps is just, if you haven't signed up for an email service provider yet, and that's in your industry, that's what you need to do. You don't have anything. It sounds like Esmeralda has your law firm, or you already have stuff kind of set up. So it's a little different for you, but for others who are coaches or have a small business you run and you don't have anything set up yet, this we'll talk more about in workshop 2, but just signing up for an ESP, keep it simple. They're all pretty much the same. I use Kit and Flowdesk are the ones that a lot of coaches and creatives like to use. MailChimp is more commerce based, so if you're selling products, and MailerLite is a great free options. If you have MailerLite, I don't know if it's changed since in a year or 2, but MailerLite has a lot of, their free version offers a lot. And then step 2, just get your first subscriber, right? Like, that's it. That's all you gotta do if you haven't started. So then the second one, the tiny list shame, right? Why bother emailing if I only have 10 people? Here's how I want you to reframe it. If this is the case for you, if you have 10, 20, in my case, I'm thinking 300 is too little, but imagine if you were sitting at a table with 10 people who wanted to hear from you. They showed up at your door, they knocked, they said, hey, I want to hear what you have to say, right? And there's 10 people and they're all there like waiting to hear from you. You're not going to leave them hanging, right? You want to share with them whatever it is that they want to hear. So I keep saying it over and over again, but just, you don't need to build it all at once. Those small steps, even if it's 10 people, really matter. And when you think of it from a very physical standpoint, like 10 people in your living room, 10 people around your dining room, 10 people in your backyard, whatever it is, that's a lot of people hearing what you have to say. Speaking of which, what do I even say? If you don't have a Google Doc or a notepad or pen nearby, get ready, because this is where we're going to stop and pause for a minute and do some brainstorming. Again, I thought this as well. Like, what do I say? I followed so many other copywriters' newsletters, and I just thought, well, like, what they're already all doing it, right? So what am I going to say? How can I contribute? But the truth is, your voice, your stories, your lens, you are unique, and nobody else has lived your experience. And your voice is different too. The way you communicate with other people, and you know, what you've learned and lessons you've learned in the past from running your business, or clients you've worked with, that is all unique. And those are all things that people can learn from. And you can also anchor your content to your messaging pillars, which is like your passions, your clients' passions, and sort of melding it together to talk about what they like. I know, for, again, my example, I do a lot of 90s and 2000s nostalgia reference points in my emails about writing email copy or business lessons. And that gets a lot of elder millennials to join my list and to stay on my list because I'm being relevant to them. And so, yeah, I know nostalgia's, it doesn't ever miss. I mean, I don't know if any Gen Zers are on my list. I don't think so. They probably unsubscribed because they're like, who is she talking about? But yeah, you know, that's my little spin on things. That's how I write and present myself, not for everything, but it's just a little touch and a little flair that I have that gets people to respond and go, that's a great email, Rachel. This was so funny, and I look forward to this every week. So yeah, millennial thing. We do love our nostalgia. I think, Kirsten, part of this is off topic, but a theory I have is that the millennials were the first ones to really like be in the online space on social media. And so then we just really harnessed like that nostalgic stuff and all that millennial stuff in 90s and 2000s. And yeah, we like grew up with it. And so then we see it all the time in our algorithm. And so, yeah, it's just like, it's funny. Okay, so here's just a 1-minute brainstorm. I'm gonna be quiet. And I just want you to write down, just to get the juices flowing, the creative juices flowing, write down 3 topics that you could talk about as it relates to your industry and that your ideal client or target audience would want to know more about. So those 2 intersections, right? So what you can teach, rant about, tell a story about that your audience would care about. So take a minute. I'm going to shut the door so my dogs don't keep walking in. And just, yeah, write a few things down. Just get started. Even open up your notes app if you want. And I will be quiet. I'll set the timer. And feel free, one last thing, feel free to type in anything you write into the chat too. If you're struggling, I will put a couple examples up there. Okay, does anyone want to share? if anyone's typing, I'll let them type. Well, I'll share a couple examples I have. So one of them, I'll put it in the chat. So this is from my email from like a month ago. This was one where I talked about how I treated networking like speed dating. And it didn't work out very well for me because I was just overwhelmed and frazzled and not really making deeper connections. And just, it was a reminder to just how to go about networking and things to avoid and things to help. So it was like a learning as you go experience. So that was one. I did another one when Brian Wilson died. It gave me the idea of thinking about nepotism a little bit and how, you know, Brian Wilson's two daughters, or the one daughter, no, the two or one were the Wilson Phillips, right? Group from the 90s. And we think about like in our business, how we think like everyone's got it together, but then we don't really know like what their background is and what kind of supports they had. So to not compare ourselves. So I do things like that with my email. And I do a lot of the vulnerable sharing stories about, you know, what's going on and stuff, just to kind of, just to relate to people more. And I think people like that human experience, human connection these days, especially with AI, because AI can't come up with those stories, right? They don't know what I'm thinking or what I've experienced. So people appreciate that. Okay, last one here, the fourth one that many of you mentioned was feeling spammy. You're like, okay, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be like all those other emails that come into my inbox that I don't appreciate or open or pay any attention to. So the first reframe is, if they signed up, they invited you in, and that's consent. That's consent-based email marketing. I like to use the example, I alluded to it earlier. That's like if you are stranded in a blizzard and you need some warmth and you're looking for warmth and you see a house, smoke coming out of the chimney, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's warmth. And someone knocks on your door. You're like, can I come in? And if you're like, no, you can just stay out on the porch. They can be like, what? Right, they're knocking on their door. They want you to come in. So now if you let them in, okay, so you let them in, great. That's the equivalent to, okay, somebody found you and wants to be on your email list. Now, let's go back to my metaphor here. They've come in, they're sitting in your home and you're ignoring them. You're not offering them anything beyond the very basics of just, okay, they're in your home, or let's say they're in the screened-in porch, right? They're off from the element, they're still cold, or they need something to eat. You're not giving them anything, but they asked to come in. And that's the same thing with your email list. If they asked to come in, if you've given them a free resource, or you've said, hey, sign up for my newsletter on your website page, or you have it in your signature, we'll talk about these things a little bit later, and they've signed up, give them what they want. If they're hungry, feed them, right? So it's not spam if they're asking for it. And I know it can be so easy, especially as women too. We'd be like, I don't want to bother them. Oh no, they don't need to hear what I have to say. No, they do. They do want to hear what you have to say. So the pro tip I have here is just build trust with permission-based marketing and allow opt-outs where relevant. I will show you an example. I believe it's on the next slide. I'll show you an example. An email it's not spam when you're providing a service and when it's done with that consent. So let me show you an example. I have, oh, no, let's see, next page. Okay. So this is an example I have for like a sales or promo sequence. I know Esmeralda's won't relate to your law firm, but for just businesses, if you have a sales promo, this is a membership that I have, and I was sending out emails like every other day. I preach it, I do it, I don't love it, but what makes it easier is I put this at the top. So I tell people, hey, this is something I have, you're going to get a few more emails, but if you don't want them anymore, just click here. So I'm able to have them click there and they can opt out of all these emails that they're going to get over the course of 2 weeks, and they can still stay on my list. So that way I'm not feeling spammy, because the people who didn't click, that means they want to keep getting them and they're undecided and they just want some more information. So I'm going to keep sending that to them. I'm curious to know if anybody's gotten emails that have this at the top at any point. They've seen this before.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So I've sent out something similar to that.
Mhm.
The issue I've had is they click to get out of that,
Mhm.
but it removes them from the entire list. And then they're like, "Hey, I haven't gotten anything else from you." It's like, "Well, you opted out." They're like, "No, just from that series." So, what ESP do you use that only allows them to opt out from this?
Yeah, this is called Kit. So I use Kit, which used to be called ConvertKit. And so what I have to do is when I highlight the click here at the top, I have to give it a tag. And so you have to, it's a lot of setup, right? You have to set up the tag. So the tag is, don't send copy cabana to these people. So I tag them so don't send it. And then I also add a link that Kit provides, which is just a preference link. So, okay, they prefer to not get, emails about this. So then once that's set up, and this is a little more logistical and tech stuff, but yeah, once that's set up, when it comes time to send out the email, I have to go to a filter, an audience filter, and click on do a couple things there. So it's hard to explain without seeing it, but I basically segment it. So everyone in my list gets this email except for the people who are tagged as don't send copy cabana to these people.
Gotcha.
Does that
Okay,
make
thank you.
Yeah, it's a little hard to explain when all the stuff isn't right in front, but yeah, it can be tricky. And then at the very bottom, of course, I have a whole thing that's like, oh, you can completely unsubscribe and never hear from me again. No offense, no offense taken, if you don't want to hear from me. So yeah, there's that option too, but this makes me feel less annoying because it's a little different now, but for the most part with strategy, with email strategy and promos, you need to be sending out lots of emails to address a lot of the different questions that people have. And if you try to send one email out that addresses all the things, then nobody's going to read that email. And it's just one email that someone could overlook or not remember to click on. And so, yeah, it's important to send out a series of emails if you're trying to sell anything specific that you think would help your audience. Yeah, so anyway, those are just some of those responses I get from people. And this was such validation for me when it was like I thought that nobody was going to want to read my emails and that this is silly, then I'm just spamming people. And these are the responses I get. So these are responses you can get too if you haven't started yet. And that is just for no pressure, but if you want to see this landing page that my friend Quinn here, or not friend, more of an acquaintance, is talking about, that's the QR codes. This is my landing page that is just, I don't know, I guess it's got the millennial, nostalgia personality and all that in there. But just to kind of show you, like, it doesn't have to be something super boring or drab. You can really spice it up and people appreciate that because with ChatGPT these days, a lot of stuff is sounding the same. And when your landing page really hits home, that's also going to get more people to join your list. Okay, what time do we have? 15 minutes left. Okay, so yeah, quick reframes here. And that's we'll see how much time we have left at the end here. So I want to leave time for questions. So reframe, you're not knocking on someone's door and barging in when you are sending emails, right? You're not being spammy. They already let you in because they subscribe to your list. So keep that in mind as you're sending emails. They want to hear from you. And you're never going to feel spammy to the right audience. So that's in workshop 3. I talk about list building and building an engaged audience. I think that'll be towards the end of November. So we'll talk more about that. But if you're building the right audience, if you're speaking to the right people and they're opting into your email list, it's going to feel a lot easier to send emails to them because they're the right audience for you. And then the other thing I think about is, I don't think I finished my metaphor with the person in the blizzard, but you bring someone in, someone knocks on your door, they need to come in from the elements because it's freezing cold outside. you're not locking them in and keeping them in the dungeon, right? You're like, okay, you can leave at any point. And that's the same thing with email as well. As if they're just not interested in what you have to say anymore, that's totally fine. They can unsubscribe. So you're still not being spammy because they are free to go at any point. So yeah, pause and reflect here. What objections or questions about email marketing does anyone still have, if any at all? Why is my hand up? Lower my hand. Feel free to unmute or, oh, thanks, Nakamuli. QR code.
I have a question. So I think to your very, very first point is, everybody gets so many emails.
Mm-hmm.
And you delete them, I delete them. I also have 4 email addresses. I try not to check them all the time, all day, but I do. So I think that tagline, that preview is so important to get people, even though they know that they're going to get an email from you, to actually open it. So do you have any suggestions or tricks that you may have learned that would be helpful?
Yeah. Hold on, because I do talk about, I can jump right to, is it in here? Let me look. Because in the next one, we're going to talk about the first, I can tell you in here though, too, the first 5 emails that you send to a subscriber are really important because it sets up the foundation, it sets up trust, it sets up the relationship. And so my suggestion is when you're sending that first email, those first 5 emails are a lot, or the first 4, it could be 4 or 5, to be really mindful about what you're sending and to be really strategic about it. Because if you send, let's say, for example, you have someone sign up for your list and then they just have a really quick, like, thanks for signing up, Natalie, and that's it, right? There's a great opportunity there to start building the relationship right from there. So giving them a little bit more information, like, or asking them a question about themselves, which also helps with deliverability, because if they respond to you, that tells your ESP that you are sending emails to real people. And that also brings your deliverability rate up and doesn't land you in the spam portions of people's inboxes. So getting people to, and I have a freebie at the end here, or the QR code, and you can get my first 5 emails to send, and all of this information in much more greater detail is in that freebie. So yeah, like getting to know them. And then the second email is, maybe getting to know you, and you just drip these out. And so you create a sequence. So when they opt into your email list, they get a sequence that drips out and just starts building that foundation and that trust. So by the time you're sending them a weekly newsletter or have a service you would love to offer them that you think they could benefit from, they're going to be like, ooh, oh, Natalie's, oh, what's she got to say? And click on it and open it up and see what she's got to say. So it's really like those first few emails can make all the difference in the world. The other thing I see people do, even in my own industry, the copywriters, is I'll notice people will only send me emails when they want to sell something. And so I won't hear from them for like a month, and all of a sudden so-and-so comes up and I'm like, oh, she's just trying to prep me to sell, like, because she wants to sell me something. And I know she's coming from a good place, but I still have that feeling of like, all right. So I try to send emails weekly, and that's where the consistency part comes in, or maybe it's bi-weekly. Just that's another part too for the welcome sequence, is to just let people know, or even on the landing page, let people know what to expect from you. So they have that information, and they're not in the back of their mind, they're not going, oh, what's she got up her sleeve? What's she trying to do? Right. They know that you're sending them an email every other week, or, they know, like, I'm very upfront. I'll be like, hey, I might send you an email about a service or membership if I think it's helpful to you. Right. And so I'm very upfront about that at the beginning. I'm not trying to be like, I don't know, like sneaky watch sales guy, like I'm just trying to be upfront and transparent. And that goes a really long way these days, especially with trust being so low right now. That just being transparent and building the relationship helps a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a mouthful, I know, but
No,
any other questions? I have more to the presentation. I just wanted to pause and stop before I kept going. Okay. All right. So what we'll do here is I want to talk about, wait, we're going to move on. Sorry, because we only have 10 minutes left. Just a little bit here about how to start and maintain an email list, because that can be really overwhelming. And again, this is just a very brief overview. We'll go into much more depth with this. I think it's workshop 3, but the first one is just focus on getting your first 10 subscribers or your next 10 subscribers. The way I did this was posting on my business socials. So if you do like socials and you're on stories, you can remind people that you have a list and put a link to the landing page. Use a post. I say every 2 to 3 posts should be directing people to do something, not just posting for the sake of posting, but, one of the call to actions can be, for more tips on XYZ, join my list, link in bio. I would tell people in my networking groups that I was starting a weekly newsletter, the ones that I was close with, like my more intimate networking groups, and they all happily joined and gave me feedback, and that was really helpful and helped propel me. And then the other one was, I don't do this anymore because I don't do these, but asking for permission to sign up for an email list when giving like a free audit or a mini strategy session. So what I would do is on my Calendly link, there'd be a question that said, would you like to subscribe to my newsletter, The Real Deal Digest? Yes, of course, or no, thank you. And if they said yes, of course, then I would manually add them in my Kit account. And that's a pretty slow way of building, but it still worked. And then I would say just make sure they all fall inside of your target audience. So like my mom is not on my email list because she is not my target audience, even though she would be replying, great email, honey. But that's not what I want. I want people who are interested in my services and what I have to say. I guess my mom is always interested in what I have to say, but that target audience. And part of that reason is being, as I mentioned earlier, the higher your engagement rate, the more effective your marketing efforts are going to be. And then the more likely you are to convert them into customers, because the other part of email is all the data that you get when you see what's being opened, what's not, what's being clicked on, what's not. That is all data. If you send an email and nobody's opening it, that's great. That's data. That's information for you to inform yourself on how to write something better for next time. So all of it is good. None of it is bad. All that information. This is a little information here. This came from Kit. So like why having an engaged list is more important than a large list. So we're short on time, so I'm going to keep moving on from that. A couple ways to grow your list. This is a really easy way. Just add a line and link in your email signature. For example, you could just, after your name, right below it, get my free blank here, want my best XYZ tips, join my list here. Really easy. Every time you send out an email, that's going out. People can see it and they can choose to click on it. Second way is, I mentioned this already, social media networking. So I'll skip that because I already said that. This third one is like a website footer or a pop-up. So I have this at the bottom of my page. I don't think people use it that much for me personally, but I do have a pop-up that's a quiz, which I'll talk about in a second, that gets people to take the quiz. In order to get all the results, they have to put it in their email. But you could just do something really simple, like steal my secrets, weekly emails that help you write like yourself and actually convert. That would be something I'd say. What else I'm looking at who else we have for, who are my, mindset coach, event design planning. So yeah, Natalie, you can say like, get my best event planning tips right to your inbox. It's worth your time, right? Click here. So that can go on a website footer. Here are a couple examples. And this Tarzan K is great. If you want to follow someone or be on an email list that's worth opening every single email, Tarzan K is fantastic. She is the email copywriter guru, but she has a lot of great practical stuff. Yes, she has lots of things she sells, but all of it is done in a very consent-based way. And some of it might even be helpful for you, but I like this one. The reason being, hold on, I'm going to skip hers. Save the time. So Tarzan leads the really compelling headline, right? So this is on her homepage or one of her pages on her website. So it's like, oh, knock, knock, may I enter your inbox? That's showing that consent-based marketing. And she doesn't ask for a lot of information. She's just asked for the name and the email. A lot of times people are like phone number, birthday, address, firstborn, right? All of it. And don't do that. Keep it really simple or you're going to lose people and they're not going to sign up. So all they need is a name and email. And you can see how her copy here too is just fun to read. It's different and it seems like it's a lot of copy, but you read it because it's different and it's interesting. And she also even has like a want to preview first, read my latest emails here. So you can get a preview of it. This is a lot of work, but it works for her. Yeah, she keeps the copy really short and simple, but it's still effective. Okay. Oh, we are short on time, but if you can, or just keep this in mind for the future, how to make your sign up page more interesting if you don't have one, or if you do have one, or if you don't have one, right? How can you make it interesting instead of just sign up for my newsletter? Because that's pretty bland. How could you make it a little more interesting and make it to your voice, your personality, or be attractive to your target audience? So the last way, and then we'll be done here, is to just to start growing that list is the snack size resource. So I'm going to have the just send an email toolkit, the first 5 emails to send to your subscribers. That'll show up in a little bit here. These are just a few freebies that I have created that get people into my world and get them on my list. And again, it takes some time. And I think for one of the workshops is a focus on coming up with a freebie or lead magnet for your own business. Like I said, we don't have much time to do that today. And then that last one is the quiz that I mentioned. So that is not as easy. It takes a lot of time. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a 5th one. Bundles and/or list swapping. So this is a great way to borrow trust for some people. Like you can collaborate with other people who have email lists and do free resource swaps. Bundles is another way. I've grown my list pretty quickly doing that. And that's where you team up with other people and you all provide a resource to everyone's list and people can decide if they want that resource or not and sign up. And yeah, it grows pretty quickly. And there's lots of different bundles for different industries. And yeah. Okay, so quick poll if you want to just put in the chat, which of these feels easiest for you or to implement this week? I think everyone's probably going to say the email signature one, right? That's pretty easy. Although the website footer, if you have a website footer with your newsletter already, think about how you can make it just a little more interesting to get people to click and enter their information. Oh, Nakimuli is asking, where do you find networking groups, bundles, and list swapping? So there's a few, the ones I have are specifically for usually like Allison Hardy, and you can like look her up, is one who does those, and Kat Griffin is another. Look up those names. I don't have their email or their websites in front of me right now, but those are 2. I've participated in Allison's a couple of times, and Kat does audio summits. I've done an audio summit for her. And yeah, there's quite a few. If you just keep your eyes open too, like look at your list, at your own inbox. And if you ever see anybody saying, hey, what is it, that copy from over here? Hey, I've teamed up with 20 other experts or 100 other people. Pay attention and see if you can figure out, if you go to that site, to their link, and then you can usually find out from there, like, okay, who's putting this on, and then you can always contact them. And usually the business owners who are putting on these bundles or list swaps are usually more than happy to include more people. So you could just pitch them, hey, I have an idea for your next bundle. Would you let me know? And they'd probably be more than happy to have you. So yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we are at 5 o'clock. And yeah, if you want the first 5 emails to send, that's a continuation of this workshop. And you want to, yeah, you want that, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. And then I'll do a quick recap. Yeah, and what's nice about this free resource, not like what I like about it, is I'm showing you in real time how it works. So you'll get my first 5 emails, and I'm very transparent. I break the fourth wall. I'm like, here, this is how this works. So you can see how it works and almost use mine as a template for yourself to write your first 4 or 5. And I think I break my own rule and I do 4 emails, but yeah. And then you also get that free before you send checklist. Okay, so thanks, Nakamuli. She put the link to QR code. You're the best. So yeah, just a couple of red flags. Just make sure you're not sending emails when you want to sell something. Don't use ChatGPT to write all these emails. And don't be generic. Just be yourself. People like to see it, especially now in the world of AI, and we don't know what's real, what's not. People are getting very savvy to those AI tells, like what is not being not what on the end of the day. Sorry, what they're what am I trying to say? They're noticing, right? People are noticing, like, that's AI. Oh, this sounded a lot like that last email or that last Facebook post. So yeah, don't be afraid to zhuzh your copy up. So the quick recap here is your list does not have to be big to matter. Think about quality over quantity. That includes not just your emails that you send, but also the subscribers that you have. Your voice and your perspective is your X factor. No one else has your lens, and we're going to do a deep dive into that in November. So if you want to come and figure that out, it'll be a lot less of me talking and more of you thinking and working and workshopping. And that'll be November. Email isn't spam when it's permission-based. You're providing a service. It's not salesy. And then just start really small when it comes to building. Add your sign-up link to your signature, socials, or do a really simple freebie like a checklist and promote that. And then a welcome sequence is your chance to really build that trust from day one, get people to open your emails because they like the first few that they sent, and you can automate that, which is really nice. So I do offer email marketing services, obviously. I do A to Z. So brainstorm, create your lead magnet, create a welcome sequence strategy, and even set up and automate the emails and landing page inside of your USP. If you're like, I don't want to deal with tech, I do it all. Just want to throw that out there. And I'd love to connect with you all on socials. Don't know why my the little Instagram guy disappeared, but I am most active on Instagram. So Rachael Writing Copy, LinkedIn, I don't have the link there, but I think if you just type in Rachael Johnson Copywriter, it shows up. But yeah, Instagram is definitely the one where I'm posting on stuff. I'm on stories. I'm being a little silly. I like to be goofy over there. So I like to be different from everybody else. Yeah. And that's my website in case you want to check that out. And we're 3 minutes over. So thank you. Thanks everybody for sticking around and listening, and hope I didn't overwhelm, but hope I helped you get some creative juices flowing and get over your any fears or mindset blocks you were having about email marketing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachael. That was amazing. I can't wait for the next chapters of your series to learn more.
Thank you. Yeah, does anyone have any questions? I know if you have to go, I guess, right? But if anyone has any questions or comments, let me know. You're welcome. You're welcome. You chat. Guess not.
I'm still digesting everything. It was a lot of information. But the cool thing is we can come back, and if we do come up with any questions in the meantime, we can come back with our questions too. So that's always something.
You can. Or DM me and Instagram or message me on LinkedIn if anything comes up. Like, Rach, you know, I'm happy to answer your questions. But yeah, I know it's a lot. It's like so much, but I'm also like, yeah, I want to make sure I help people just kind of bust through any fears or misconceptions about email marketing, because it's such a great platform to have for yourself. And really, it's like the only way to be consistent and what's like not contained. I guess, yeah, maybe it's consistency, because you're showing up in their inbox and you're not relying on the algorithm. And
Right.
you're really able to build that trust with those first few emails.
And it's under your control. Like you said, it's not the algorithms or anything like that. Like, it's your email list. You own it too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you own it. And it's really scary the first few times you send out an email to people, but the truth is no one cares. They do, but they don't, you know, like no one's picking apart your email besides you. Like no one is, you know, people we're being fed content all the time. We got our email list. And so, or lots of emails coming to us. And so no one's really overthinking it or analyzing it and picking it apart like we might think they are. So
I think
yeah,
getting out of your own way is the biggest problem.
say that again. Sorry.
Getting out of your own way is
Yeah.
the biggest problem.
Yeah, it really is. And but once you start, it's like with anything, once you start, it gets less and less scary the more you do it. I'm sure, Kirsten, you know, with acting, right? Like the first time you went to an audition, it's probably, oh my gosh, I'm sure it's still scary, but it's not.
Yeah. It's like driving. When you first learn to drive, like everything is like, oh my God, this is so scary. And then after a while you're driving and like doing stuff at the same time, like you get more and more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So I feel like the same thing with this. And then you also, if you keep sending your list that you're going to create your voice, like I never even thought of putting nostalgia in an email list. Like those two things I never thought they would mix. So you really brought up a lot of points today that I had never even thought of. So I'm really appreciate that. You can really make it your own niche and get people excited about it. So
Gifts, people like to put in gifts to you know, like little,
oh yeah,
you know, like people do that. And
never thought of that either.
yeah, and it's fun. It really becomes for me, it becomes a creative outlet. It's just a way to be a little creative and bring some joy into people's lives. And then when I have an idea or like that membership I have, and I, you know, want people to know about it, and because I think it'll genuinely help them, right? It's coming from a place of serving. You're not just like shoving things down anyone's throat.
Right.
You're like, no, this really can help you. I want to help you. If you think this can help you, here. If not, great. You just save yourself some money, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really, really awesome. So many awesome things brought up today. I'm very excited to see more information in the next things to come, because for me this is all new. I don't know a lot about email lists at all. So I'll be honest about that. Awesome.
Great. All right. Anything else, Kirsten, or?
No, I thought that was really cool. I learned a lot of things that, like I said, that I never thought of before.